I'm Jim Tech. You're watching Kelowna Now. I'm here today with another show with Tania Gustafson with Fit Nutrition, the sponsor of this show. And today we're going to talk about something really cool and interesting, body types.
Body types and your set point. They go together.
There you go. So how do you want to dive in? You want to start picking on me kind of thing?
No, no, I'm not going to pick on you. But it's kind of good that we have the male and female here because that, you know, I've worked with a lot of couples, and what happens is, you know, a lot of times the women want to get started, the husband comes along, and he ends up losing more weight more quickly than the lady does, and she gets all frustrated. We all have different body types. Or maybe you join, you know, you link arms with a friend and you want to do something, and it's like, well, dang, how come we're doing the same thing at the same amount of time? And he or she has lost, you know, 10 pounds already, and I've lost 2, and, you know, they get all discouraged. And I just wanted to let people know that they shouldn't be getting discouraged because everyone has a different body type. So there's an ectomorph, a mesomorph, and an endomorph. So an ectomorph, okay, I'm going to use some analogies like a bike.
Sure.
Okay. Ectomorph is that we, you know, everyone saw them in high school. The skinny girl who's wearing the size 0 jeans, and everyone was like, oh, hating on her behind her back because she was tiny, super tiny, right? That would be an ectomorph person. So if you think about a bicycle, that'd be like a road bike. Very sleek, very fast. Right?
In high school, I was like 125 pounds, and I think I stayed that way till about probably like 26, till I went on the Joe Weider gain weight plan.
Right.
There was that old comic book where it says, like, people kicking sand in your face at the beach.
Oh, that, yes. And then, of course, nobody did leg day because it was just all the upper body, and there was this tiny, like the guy from The Incredibles, right? You kind of looked like way
So I ordered the Joe Weider program.
Did you really?
And I did it,
okay.
and I ate so much, and I drank so. I think I had to drink a gallon of milk a day with the protein powders.
Oh, my goodness.
And I gained 25 pounds in probably 6 to 8 months. Most of it muscle.
Most of it muscle. Okay, so that's good. So you did have an actual balanced plan.
It was the first time I actually gained weight because I used to eat like a garbage can, like literal garbage can, and not gain weight.
Yeah. Well, and that's what happens with people that are an ectomorph body type. They have a really hard time putting on weight. Like one of my daughters is 31 and she still does not weigh 100 pounds. She is an ectomorph. She's tiny. She's very healthy.
I literally ate till I felt like I was going to throw up all the time.
Oh, no. That's not good. Nobody do that. Don't listen to Jim. Don't order the Joe Weider.
I did that when I was in the 26, 27-year-old.
Right? Okay. But none of the 26 or 27-year-olds listening should ever do that either, right?
I used to get the jokes. If you turn sideways and stick out your tongue, you look like a zipper. I'm just like, that's so funny.
Oh, no.
That's so funny.
That's terrible. Oh, I feel so bad for you people making fun. That's not nice.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. So, and then the next one would be a mesomorph. So like a mountain bike, right? Like the road bike is super fast, super sleek. Mountain bike, kind of in the middle. You're pretty quick. You can move it. You can get it going. You can go where you want to go. Not as fast as a road bike. You'll get there, right? If you both start at point A and go to point B, road bike's going to get there first. You're going to get there second. The third one is an endomorph, which is the opposite of the ectomorph, right? They have real trouble losing weight. They can gain weight. That would be those people that say, oh my gosh, I just look at that piece of cake and it goes right to my hips. Like, people say that, right? And they just think, oh my gosh, it's so hard for me to lose weight. It's so easy for it to come on. That would be an endomorph, and they would be like the beach cruiser bike. Yeah. Like if everybody started here at your studio and everyone was driving down to the beach on the bikes, the road bike's going to get there first, then the mountain bike, then the beach cruiser. They're all going to get there, right? They're just going to be a slower go as the...
And if you're an Archie comic book reader, Moose would be the... Mesomorph, right?
Well, yeah. He's kind of that's the in-between
Jughead
person.
would be the ectomorph.
The ectomorph, there we go. Yeah, I love.
And then Archie and Reggie would be the in-between.
There'd be the in-between, yeah. So Moose would be like the endomorph, the big guy, and in the middle would be the mesomorph, which is most of the population. So meso being meaning medium, right? Where you can gain or lose weight, you can fluctuate. You might lean towards one or the other a little bit, and as you kind of think about it and think about your history, you'll be able to define which one you are. And once you know which one you are, you can set your expectations accordingly. So if you are if you have a high metabolism, so you're the beach cruiser bike, right? Then you have a very low set point. Now, set point, like I said at the beginning, they go together. So a set point is like your thermostat in your house, but it's for your weight in your body. Okay. And what that does is your body decides where it's comfortable. Whether you're comfortable or not, it decides this is where I want to be based on the choices you've done, the history, whatever, right? And a lot of times when people go to lose weight, they'll be like, yes, I'm down 10 pounds or 20 pounds. They get there and then they bounce back up and they're like, well, what the heck? I can't seem to get past this certain stage and I just bounce back up. This is because most people are doing diets, number one. We've talked about dieting before, not a good thing, right? It doesn't give you any sort of lifestyle. It doesn't give you any sort of balance. And the thing is, when you, if you want to change your set point, you have to go below where it was, number one. So you're on that journey, you get below it was. And wherever it is you want to be, you have to be able to maintain that for 2 to 3 months to lock that in. So if you've been doing a diet where you're like, okay, I'm starting now, I got to go for like 8 weeks or 12 weeks. It's super hard, I can do it. And I'm hanging on by my fingernails. And then I get to the end and I'm done. If you have that mentality, obviously now you're not going to be doing the same things that you were in order to maintain that, right? And so then it bounces back up. And the reason you can't maintain doing those things is because you've probably been depriving yourself or having to count calories or weigh the food, or you're like, oh my gosh, how do I can't even do this.
You're eating bark off the sides of trees.
Right, like you're doing that, or you're eating prepackaged food everywhere, and you can't go to a restaurant. And you're like, oh my gosh, this doesn't work with my life. I'm making my own dinner over here, and now I got to make dinner for my family over here, and everyone's different, and it just is not cohesive. It's also not good for your psyche, for your mental health, mental wellness, because it creates disordered eating. A lot of disordered eating, a lot of poor relationship with food, poor body image, shaming on yourself about your body, feeling guilty about food. And it's interesting because we need food to survive, obviously, right? So if you're feeling guilty about something that you need for survival, think about what happens in your mental wellness because of that. It's not, I'm just going to compare it to another, like something that's an addiction, right? So some people get addicted to sugar or whatever. I'm not saying that you should be having a lot of sugar. It's not, you shouldn't, but not saying you can never have it either, right? But if you're like, you suck in there, you're really trying to lose weight, but food is everywhere because we need it to survive. We can't just go, I'm going to stay away from it. Like, if you're trying to quit smoking and, you have some people at work that go out for a smoke all the time. Okay, you're just not going to go out with them. You're going to go for a walk, or you're going to go to the coffee room, or you're going to do something else on your break, right? You're not going to go out with the smokers if you want to stop smoking. It's not like we can do that. We can't just go, I'm just going to not do the food. We have to do food. So having something where you can, as a lifestyle, putting your food together in a way that creates hormonal balance and stabilizes blood sugar, creating that balance in your life, then you can now break through that plateau, reset your set point, and it's not a struggle to keep doing what you were doing because you've established healthy habits that work with your life.
So how do you go about setting your set point? Like, how do you first determine your body type?
Yep.
That should be fairly easy because you can do that with your frame though too, right? Because there's a couple of areas like your wrist bones, they don't ever gain weight. Your knee, your elbows, like that's your body frame too, right?
That is your frame. Yeah, you can kind of look at people that say, "Oh, I'm big boned." Those people may be the ones that are on the endomorph side that are. It's harder for them to lose weight, easier for them to gain weight. Right. The people that are super tiny, that they're always like, my watch strap is too loose and all the things, right? All the stuff like that. They are more on the opposite end, and then everyone else is kind of in the middle. So once you've established what type you are and then relate that to the bike and go, okay, I can probably expect that faster results than my friend over here, but slower results than my friend over here, right? Like, so put that into perspective and then set your expectations accordingly. Because if you don't have the body type that supports that and your friend says, hey, I was just doing this, it's really great. And whether they have, I'm not even going to go into that right now, but they might have a diet, they might have a program. Either way, we'll talk about how you decide as well. And they tell you that I've lost, 10 pounds in a really quick, short of time. You should just do this. It's going to work for you. It's probably not if they're not the same body type as you. Right. And then people get really discouraged, disappointed, and they start, shaming on themselves or thinking, well, it's all my fault. I'm doing something wrong. There's something wrong with me that my body's not working because everybody else is, when it's really just one friend, right. So there's a whole lot of mental stuff that happens around weight. And those 3 questions that we should be asking ourselves, number one, when you're going to do a program or any sort of thing, if your friend wants to recruit you to do something, if you want to start a program. I have a free video on my website that talks about the blood sugar stabilization. You can go to fuelignitethrive.com and watch the free video. But what you should be asking yourself before you do anything is, number one, is it based in science? So there's a lot of science around things that are not good for you too. So, okay, there's one. Second one is, does it make sense for you that you could do this for life?
Yeah, lifestyle change.
Lifestyle change, because once you start doing something and you get down to where you want, we talked about that, you need to be able to maintain that for 2 to 3 months, or it's just going to float back up again and probably make you gain more weight because you get discouraged, and then you throw the baby out with the bathwater and you start just, randomly eating whatever, the F-it diet that you used to call it, right?
Yeah.
Not saying that on camera live, but that's what Jim used to call it. And that's what people do.
Eat it. Right?
Seafood and eat it, and just not even care because they think they can't do it. And so we don't want to go there, right? So first thing, is it based in science? Second thing, does it make sense so you can do it for life? And the third thing, would you let your child or teenager do what you're about to do?
On an ongoing basis.
On an ongoing basis. Yeah. Because if you wouldn't, then you shouldn't be doing it either. Because we have the same body now that we were born with, right? Like all the parts are still, like all the digestive system, everything is still there. We're just a bigger human. And so when you eat your food in a way that creates hormonal balance and stabilizes blood sugar, so you're putting your proteins, fats, and carbs, yes, carbs, you're allowed to eat them, and fats, together in the right portions, in the right frequencies throughout the day, you create hormonal balance, you stabilize blood sugar, your body naturally releases stored fat, it protects your muscle, your energy increases, your metabolism turns on, your cravings go down, your immune system goes up. It's a whole lot of good benefits, and all your organs and systems are functioning synergistically together. They're not fighting.
I got an idea.
Yeah.
This came to me.
Okay.
With all your stuff, like it should be with AI nowadays, and you put in your needs and wants and all that stuff.
Okay.
And when you go to McDonald's or anywhere, any restaurant, only things that are good for your health show up on the menu.
Okay.
So like when
if you go to McDonald's, nothing will show up.
Water.
Water will show up. Unless it's in one of those weird cups that secretes plastic, and then you
just think how that would help you, right?
Yeah, it would help. All you have to do is thinking about eating things that come in their own wrappers, right? We talked about this before. Right. Anything that comes in a package, box, bag, can, or wrapper, unless it's a bag of individual items, trail mix is one of the things I talk about. If it's all natural, you've put in several different kind of nuts and raisins and whatever. Okay, those are all individual foods in one bag.
Right?
Yeah, whole foods. Eat whole foods a lot, frequently throughout the day, and you will turn your metabolism on. You'll have so much energy and feel great. Yeah. Most people who need to lose weight, they have this misconception that they just need to start cutting and cutting and cutting. But if you go back to stabilizing your blood sugar, we're the same as we were when we were born, babies, right? What do babies want to do when they first wake up? Eat. And then, you have grandkids, I have grandkids, right? Several times a day. Don't leave the house with a toddler until I know snack. It's a bad day.
Yeah. I would say, like in your title, if we ate more for nutritional value as opposed to
just filling the stomach
taste,
bucket,
or more for taste, for to feed an urge or whatever. If we ate more for nutritional value, at least first, we would eat less of this impulse stuff. And then just saying, like for nutritional value, if you started your day off with 4 boiled eggs, and you ate those 4 boiled eggs first, and then you looked around in the fridge and found, like the Pop-Tart or something like that, you probably eat a lot less Pop-Tarts. But if you start with the Pop-Tarts.
Yes, that is an excellent point. Yeah. Because when you're putting protein in first, because, back to the babies. What are babies eating? Breast milk or formula? Yeah. It's a balance of a protein, a fat, and a carb together. Right. They need that protein, they need that fat to stabilize your blood sugar and to satiate you. If you're eating something that is quick into the bloodstream and fires it right up, you get a little boost of energy, but it's like quickly deflated. It comes right down. And it wants more. And it wants more. It
wants that second Pop-Tart, third Pop-Tart.
It does, because whatever you feed grows. And we have good bacteria and bad bacteria. We also did a show on this. You guys can go back and watch that one. But if you're putting in the processed stuff, it's feeding the bad bacteria. And as it grows, it's craving more. It's telling you to eat more of the stuff that's processed. Whereas if you, like you said, put in more of the whole foods, you do kind of squeeze out the other ones because now you're satiated, you're full. And when your blood sugar is stable, you don't crave.
And it's changing your mindset for sure. And it will make the biggest difference in the world if you eat for nutritional value instead of pleasure.
But you can have both.
Right, but I'm just saying start with the nutritional value stuff first. So eat, and that includes at dinner. Eat that salad first. Remember that old soup salad? Have a salad, have some soup, and then have your proteins and your carbs. And then, if there's still room for dessert, have dessert. But lots of times, if you're full on all the, like the proteins and everything, even when you're out at dinner, you're just like, you want dessert, just like, I don't got no room for dessert.
I'm okay now. I'm good. I don't need it.
But, you know, like the bad thing is if you go to some of the restaurants in town, they bring you that bread, right? Like that sweet bread kind of thing covered in butter. And you get, they kind of like eat that bread, like 4 or 5 pieces of that bread. And then probably not the best thing to start, right?
No.
Have them bring it at the end. And you won't get the second and third loaf.
That's right. No, that's a really good point. Wasn't it the keg that used to do that?
They do that still.
Do they still do that?
I love the bread is amazing.
It is amazing.
But have it at the end.
Yes. No, I totally agree. And that's a really great point. And when you, so if you don't think you need to save up your calories for that dinner when you go out and you keep eating throughout the day regularly and keep your blood sugar stable, when you get there, you won't be reaching for that bread right away because you won't be starving, right? Yeah. You'll be able to say, hey, that's okay. Can you bring that with my meal or bring that at the end? And you'll be totally fine to sit there and, sip the water and lime or, sit there and have a conversation with your guests and your family. And then when the dinner comes, absolutely right, eat the salad with the fiber first and then your protein and then something with the fat. So if you're having a steak, you got both in there already. And then eat the starchy stuff last. And then that way, blood sugar is nice and stable. And even avoid you can eat out.
Even if you're going to have wine or beer, have it after you've eaten.
Yes, get some protein in you first. Because that alcohol is a carb.
Just tell them, hey, look, I'm at a steak place. Bring the steak first.
That's right. There you go. Get that steak in first. I'm all for steak. I like steak. And if you want that glass of wine or the beer with it, absolutely. Think about that as a piece of white bread. Think about your alcohol as a piece of white or a cake because it's that quick carb, right? It's like a processed carb. It's not metabolized the same in the liver as the starchy carbs are, but blood sugar wise, it will still cause a spike. So if you have other food in there first, that's protein and fat, and then you put the carb in afterwards, you can actually balance, one drink.
Yeah, I think that
minimize the carnage.
shifting your mindset, even for kids, telling them that eat for nutritional value first. Like, what do I need to eat today?
Yeah,
and then work on the pleasurable foods, right? And there's no doubt a cheesecake covered with whipped cream and strawberries and all that kind of stuff looks pretty damn fine when you're comparing it to 4 boiled eggs, right?
Well, then give them something that looks pleasing, right? Give them the boiled eggs with a lot of berries on it, on the side of berries, like something nice and colorful, and let them pick their favorites. That's the thing too. I used to do this with my kids. They wanted to give out, or they still do, I think, give out cookies at the bakery part of Superstore.
Right, when you go there, yeah.
When you go there and
most of the grocery stores, yeah.
Yeah, they want to give a cookie to your kids. And once in a while, I'd let them have it.
They're going to scream for like 12 more.
I know. But what I started doing is I thought, you know what? Okay, how can we circumvent this? So when you go in, obviously you're hitting the produce section first. So I said, okay, before we went, I hyped them all up and I said, look, you guys get to pick something at the grocery store that we've never had. They're like, what? I said, anywhere in the fruits and vegetables, something that we've never had before that looks cool to you today. You get to pick it and we'll go home and we'll somehow add it to lunch, whatever, right? Like we'll figure out how to eat it for lunch. They were so excited. They didn't even think about the cookie. And so then it got them to try a whole bunch of new things too. We tried dragon fruit, we tried jackfruit or star fruit or whatever. We did not try a durian. I did draw the line at that one. One of them said, can we try this? And I'm like, I don't think so. Because I actually don't even know what to do with it, but I know it smells really bad. So I thought, yeah, let's just not turn them off on the first go around here. So we'll try something else. But yeah, let them pick. Yeah. And they're so excited to eat it. And yeah, you can avoid the cookie.
And I think even like we've done at home now, those grow towers. The kids are used to picking their food off the grow tower before dinner. That's a pretty cool experience, right? You go pick the lettuce off and that, because lots of times it's tough to convince somebody to eat lettuce. And like I'm not a rabbit. That's the
right. If they can come out to the garden with you, or whatever garden you have, you can do window boxes. You can do big plant pots on your deck. You can do a lot of things. My daughter lives in an apartment and she has tomatoes on her deck, and lettuce and herbs and stuff like that. You can do a lot in a small space if you just get creative. So
the body types, especially if you're in a relationship and there's like one is the one end of the scale and one is the other ones, because if you're like myself, it's a hard gainer, you would call them too. Like hard to gain muscle, even hard to gain weight, right? Yep. Any kind of weight, and where they can eat like a garbage can. And if your partner is on the other end of that extreme, and they look at a peanut and they gain weight, and then it's really hard to kind of balance those diets and stuff like that too, right? So.
Yeah, it can be quite defeating. So if you actually understand where you are, then you can just take that the breath of relief and go, okay, well, it's not It's not me. Like it's not. There's nothing wrong with me. It's just I'm a different type.
Yeah.
You know.
And I think that if you happen to be like that, the person like myself would, if you eat a lot more proteins and eat a lot more natural foods, you're going to be better off. And so is that person on the other end of the scale. If they eat a lot more proteins, they're not going to see the weight gain as much on that, and or like healthier whole foods.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I've seen dramatic turnarounds with people that come to me. They're only, eating tiny portions twice a day, and they're really wanting to lose weight. I get them eating between 5 and 7 times a day, and they start shrinking down, and they're like, "Oh my gosh, I have so much energy. How does this happen?" Well, you got some fuel.
Because there's a lot of people in my category that would be called skinny fat too as they get older.
Yes.
Right? So a lot of their body parts are very thin, like their appendages and that, and then just they're kind of like their trunk is very carries a lot of weight. Right?
Or they're kind of softish, like there's no muscle definition. That is a good point. Skinny fat is a thing, and it usually happens with the ectomorph type person, where you've seen that guy or gal from high school, and you go to the reunion and they're still kind of skinny, but they have kind of a tummy happening, like a little bit of a basketball thing going on. If you were to take their body fat percentage, which is much greater accuracy than a BMI, by the way, I'm just going to throw that out there. Don't do the BMI, do the body fat percentage, find someone who can do it for you. And you take their body fat percentage, they're going to be way over the safe zone, even though their weight would have them in a healthy BMI. Okay.
A little tip for you. Chat GPT right now. Take a picture of yourself. You can have some underwear on or whatever. You can share with Chat GPT.
Oh yeah. Don't share if you're not fully clothed.
You can upload a picture and it'll guess your body fat percentage pretty close.
Really?
Really good.
Okay.
Actually really well.
Interesting.
It's interesting, and it'll even give you pictures of the body types and all that kind of stuff. So.
Yep. So I guess you can sometimes use AI to help you out a little bit, and
sure.
And so it's a good thing to have checked, and then you can have it as a point of measure as opposed to just weight, because weight on the scale is kind of relevant. But what is your weight made up of, right? If your body fat percentage is way too high, you can have the healthiest weight range going, but you're still going to be at risk for metabolic disease because your organs
And one of the most
struggling.
important things as we age is muscle.
Yes.
It is one of the most important things to have as you age to fend off many, many illnesses, right? Yep. So they're saying now that muscle is one of the most important things to maintain or grow as you age.
That's right. You need to do that, because otherwise, if you don't consciously do that, you will lose muscle at sarcopenia, right? You'll lose tissue, you'll lose bone mass. Like you can lose all of these masses. And just a little tip, when we talked about cortisol, high cortisol and stress, that actually accelerates those things. So you want to get that stress plate under control.
And it's possible at any age to gain muscle. And I'm proof of that.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah,
me too.
So,
I'm stronger in my 50s than I was in my 20s.
I'm in better shape than I've been my whole life.
Yeah?
Yeah.
It's great, isn't it?
And I ate like a garbage can when I was younger.
I'm glad you don't.
Literally like a garbage can. Like I used to work at the mill, and every day.
So did my dad.
Every day I would eat 3 hot dogs. That was my lunch.
Oh my gosh.
And a jug of Kool-Aid.
Oh.
And I could eat that forever.
So mystery meat in a tube washed down by sugar.
And then I branched out. There was a Red Rooster that opened up in High Level, Alberta, and they had 3 hamburgers for $5.
Oh boy.
They were not good hamburgers.
Imagine the quality of those.
I stopped the hamburgers after I bit one and there's a bone in there. So they were using not exactly the highest quality.
Okay, so Jim's tips today are: do not eat from a convenience store.
I'm just saying, when you don't gain weight, you can eat like a garbage can, but it's still not good for you.
No, it's not. And I think that's kind of a misconception, right? Women will say, oh, my husband can eat anything and he doesn't gain any weight. And so the guy does. And then later on, he has all these health challenges, even though his weight is still okay, because he doesn't understand what he's done on the inside.
And I've gone through a few gamuts, and I did work at a mining camp for a while. Mm-hmm. And in a mining camp, one of the things they do very well for you is feed you.
They feed you, yeah.
And then at this mining camp, they made 3 different entrees every night, so you could have a choice. The guys could have a choice, and you could have all 3. Lots of times I did. Do you know what I mean? I'll have a pork chop, a piece of chicken, and you know what? I'll have that hamburger steak, right? And then we had a French pastry chef there.
Oh wow!
Yeah, I was 50 pounds heavier, and turning a different color.
Yeah. Yeah, because when your body can't metabolize and process all that stuff, it gets packed in as fat, and then it gets backed up onto your liver. Yeah. And if your liver is struggling to filter.
Yeah. I was working 16 hours a day.
Yeah.
Like 7 days a week, and the only release I got was food.
Wow.
So you just indulged.
Yeah, you got to find a different release than food, right? Yeah, for sure. For health. For health reasons. Yeah. Right? And I'm glad you did now because now you're addicted to the gym.
I am.
Instead of crazy food.
Yeah.
Garbage can food.
Garbage can food. Even like, and one last thing about the mining camp is like, do you want gravy on that or barbecue sauce? And I would say, yeah, put them both on.
Garbage can. Noted.
Anyway,
no garbage can diets.
That's probably enough for today.
Yeah, I think so. I think we've covered it all, right? Body type, set point, and don't eat from a convenience store, or garbage can.
Eat
diet.
for nutrition first.
Yeah.
Fill most of your needs with the nutritional foods, and then consider, the stuff that you eat for pleasure last.
Exactly. Yeah, put all the good stuff in first. You don't have room for the stuff that's not healthy for you, and when you do have room, it'll be a few and far between, and then that's okay.
Don't eat 3 bowls of popcorn before dinner.
Yeah, probably not a good idea.
No,
you want to have room for the good stuff. Oh, there we go. That's our timer.
I think that's it.
That's our timer.
We're up. We thank you again.
You're welcome.
And then thank you for watching Kelowna Now.